great because I can totally relax and recline during.
What if you fall asleep during the podcast?
Perfect.
That's the good side of your hair too.
Joel!
Where am I?
When would you like to start
Mother,
the
no!
podcast?
Whenever.
Do it.
Hit the button. Pull the lever.
We already did.
Wrong lever.
Hold on.
Boop, boop. Oh, I thought you were. Swear to God, I thought you were gonna play the. Play it.
Oh.
Not clear what you're talking about at all.
No, yeah, we don't know what you're talking about, Lawrence. Sorry.
Welcome to the Inside Gaming Podcast for September 18th, 2014, episode 25. I debated.
That's a new podcast theme song.
Yeah.
It was muted.
There we go. It still worked out better. I debated reading everyone's name, but I won't. So instead, Joel, what product do you use in your hair, if any?
Which one's Joel?
I use American Crude fiber every morning. Just a little bit, just enough. I don't want to make it crunchy or crinkly. I don't want to make it. Isn't it soft like a baby?
No,
It's like a baby. It's like a baby.
It's a little crinkly up here.
I think anyone that puts a lot of stuff in their hair is always under the impression that it's subtle. But it isn't at all subtle. It's like, no, your hair's doing this. It's going up and making a 90-degree turn.
Joel's in the room.
But he's naturally curly, even without stuff, right?
I'm naturally Jewish.
Well, we knew that too.
Yeah.
Well, you know what else is naturally Jewish? All the world's media, including the internet, which includes websites from Squarespace.
Oh, that's a terrible segue.
That's a real bad segue.
Don't do that segue ever again.
How to lose a sponsor in 1 second.
Yeah, don't.
Wow.
Oh, I'm not going to include that in the air test. At any rate,
Oh, I see.
you can go to Squarespace and sign up for a free trial, which you will want to do for a contest, the details of which will be announced later in this podcast.
Ooh.
Ah.
So stay tuned, kids. There's
tuned,
more
kids.
to come.
They're closing the window as fast as they can.
But when you decide to sign up for Squarespace, make sure to go to squarespace.com. Use the offer code INSIDE to get 10% off your first purchase and to show your support for Inside Gaming. That's offer code INSIDE, INSIDE at squarespace.com. We thank Squarespace for their support of Inside Gaming.
Yes.
And you can make the internet a little less crappy with Squarespace. Not
Is that their slogan?
Is that official?
I was gonna say,
That's our official slogan.
or you can make it even worse.
Oh.
I'm hitting it from a different
I don't
angle.
know if
You're
you
free to
really
have
wanna
it.
do that.
Yeah, we still have our website that hasn't been
Website.
touched. Well,
Oh,
let's see
that's
here.
right.
Adam made a page on there. A long
I
time
did.
ago. Let's see.
Kind of. I spent about
Inside
35 seconds on
Can I
it.
report Lawrence for anti-Semitism?
Yep.
I didn't say anything negative about
No,
the
he didn't
Jews.
say anything negative.
You just said
It
that-
was one of those horrendous positive stereotypes.
Oh, hey, Jews can fly.
Whoa, you can fly?
I mean, yeah, we don't.
Prove
want the
me
secret
wrll,
getting out,
Joel.
though.
He
You know how much
fly, he
responsibility
can
I'll have everyone knows I can fly?
Do you just fly like naturally, like Magneto flies, or do you sprout wings?
He's like Silver Surfer, except it's a surfboard of money.
Oh,
my
please
gosh.
stop.
Oh my
Where's this
gosh.
coming from, Texas boy?
This is normally the things I say.
Jeez.
No, it's not.
You need to stop hanging out with that James character.
Here's the thing. 2 people are Jewish in this podcast. Guess which ones?
Me
And
and Lawrence.
So I'm allowed to say it.
Oh man.
I don't know.
Moving on.
On with the show.
PewDiePie, probably not Jewish, but we're talking about him anyway.
Oh boy. I don't know. Lawrence got to drop it.
got a real axe to grind today.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
PewDiePie.
Yeah.
Go on.
He signed a deal with MLG TV. They probably threw him just a silly amount of money
Oh yeah, we don't know how much, right?
for an
$17.
No, of course not. Why would they
$17.
say?
I heard.
Unless they
That's
want
what
to
I heard.
brag.
You gave him a free copy of Destiny.
Ooh.
At any rate, PewDiePie will debut episodes of his podcast Bro Ken on MLG.TV/PewDiePie. Fans can watch new episodes exclusively on MLG.TV before they're posted anywhere else. Replays will then be posted on YouTube. Basically, they bought the exclusive window on the streaming of the recording of his podcast.
Correct.
So they only bought a show,
So
Not PewDiePie.
not
be like-
PewDiePie.
it'd be like if someone bought our live streams.
or like
Yeah.
a Steam Roulette or something. Like
Oh.
if they bought
Yeah, but
Steam
they
Roulette.
all they bought was us recording it.
Correct. Yeah.
Gotcha.
And
Zubu.tv.
they only bought it for 24 hours.
Correct.
Hitbox TV. We're looking at you. Yeah.
Oh my.
Well, basically, so he it's kind of like what we do. We
This is sounding
record,
like an even
and then we
better
take the
and better
assets
deal.
and make a video and put it up on
PewDiePie.
YouTube. They bought the recording.
So
he's-
do this?
Wow.
No, because
MLG.
PewDiePie drives millions of viewers and we drive.
Dozens of
There was that
viewers.
one time we hit 1,800
Yeah,
people.
that was pretty good.
It's pretty cool.
Pretty good.
Huh?
Only half of those.
So
are
he
paid for.
typically does his podcast live.
I am not sure.
I
to be
think he probably just records it and puts it on YouTube.
Yeah.
That's what I was.
Yeah.
So you're not a bro?
Sorry.
He's a brony.
Are we all admitting here to not ever watching one of
Hey,
PewDiePie's
no, I've
podcasts?
watched PewDiePie before.
I've seen PewDiePie.
I've seen PewDiePie. I
videos.
haven't seen his podcast.
Hearing
Well, no,
PewDiePie
I
I think he
talk
just started it.
is a lot more
Anyway.
entertaining than him
You-
seeing his videos.
So you okay? I've seen his videos.
Started 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, it's new.
Oh, it's brand new.
It's
Oh,
new.
Okay.
There you go.
Kind of like how we just started doing podcasts.
Thank you, Spool.
Anyway, you bring up the story. Why?
Because
How's it related to video games?
Well, he plays video games. He's a video game icon. But more interestingly, we're just getting these little stories that by themselves don't amount to much. But when you combine them all, it's really just a realization of where media is going.
Sure.
Celebration of personalities. This is something the drum we've been banging for a while. But it's easy to see when a cash flush organization like MLG TV signs a check for a relatively small exclusivity window. It kind of reminds me of like, Microsoft threw a ton of money at this developer to get 2 weeks of DLC
Right.
first,
Ah.
and everybody else is like, cool.
Yeah.
So
But here's the thing: PewDiePie has 30 million subscribers. The guy drives like 3, 4, 5 million views in a week on a video, and I don't know. Hey, Spool, do you know what numbers he drew for the first episode of Broken on MLG TV? Because I thought it just aired last night. You don't know? I mean, like, it's just absurd that. I mean, this guy's a celebrity. He's a world celebrity.
sure.
He's
But
a-
what happens if only like 1,000 people tuned in?
There's no way.
There's absolutely
There's no way.
Yeah.
What? That's
don't
the
know.
smallest percentage.
If
Well,
0.5%
there you go.
of his audience of his subscribers tune in, I think that's still 150,000 people.
Okay.
That's
Holy
0.5%.
The bigger thing is it almost seems like a must-see TV type model,
Right.
Which I don't know if that works in the streaming world. Does anyone know if that works? If someone comes to watch PewDiePie do something, are they gonna hang around for whatever comes next? Like,
I don't know, but like so for me it was The Simpsons. Like I had to watch The Simpsons on Sunday or Thursday nights back when it was on Thursday nights because I knew if I went to school the next day,
Oh, people
and
talk
everyone was
about
talking
it.
about it.
Yeah.
Also, I didn't have TiVo. TiVo didn't exist.
Right.
Oh yeah.
These
those were
kids
tough
might
times.
treat
Those are the
this
worst
as like Simpsons season 3 or as Seinfeld or whatever the hell.
yeah.
Wow.
Well, I'm thinking
crazy.
the big plan, which I'm assuming is the MLG plan, is get this big name in to get people to watch that. Like
Right.
you watch The
Oh,
Simpsons.
you're like a lead on.
But then,
yeah.
but then the ideal
They stick
situation
around.
is that people watch the last half of the show before Simpsons begins,
Right.
and then the second half of whatever. So
Let's consult with our friends who produced the hit TV show Caroline in the City. Oh no.
Why is our audience leaving? Where are they going?
Well, hold on. But there's examples of this though, like Seinfeld and Friends.
Veronica's Closet.
Friends was the lead into Seinfeld.
That's the thing,
and-
that's
and
how the-
Friends
yeah.
became huge. So and that's honestly, it's like this is actually different.
Sequest.
I think it's different and even better because of
Jonathan
it's a website.
Brandis.
So you have to go to a website. You have
Yeah.
to view all their ads. You get all these impressions already on their ads.
Yeah.
And then you're
Coupling.
there, and then you're watching PewDiePie. So I think that it's again, you said really 0.5% of his audience is
Is
150,000 people.
Yeah, because 1% of his audience would be 300,000 people.
Oof.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
That is unbelievable.
And yeah, they're right. They're essentially buying traffic from MLG.TV, hoping that some of them will favorite another stream, check
Well,
out, like click around.
It's a fairly good get.
Yeah.
But I think that actually speaks to more kind of like, what does what does Maker think of that? Or Disney. And they're like,
obviously-
wait a minute, I thought we bought this kid.
Obviously, he was I mean, his contract must have been non-exclusive,
Right.
Which sucks for Maker and Disney, and I think speaks to a greater problem, which is what is the brand of all of these things? Can we talk about? We have time to talk about this?
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely.
But
Absolutely.
first, a clap sync. Ready?
For now.
Oh crap!
Ready?
1, 2, 3.
Perfect.
Yay.
So, when Disney bought Maker, I'm sure they were like, "Oh, we got PewDiePie
Yep.
now." But the thing is, they don't got nobody. Like no
Well,
one.
they do. I mean, they have his contract. They have PewDiePie's contract.
They have him.
for now,
For however
the next
long it lasts,
year or
yeah.
2 years,
I don't know
or
how long it lasts.
until he gets upset and goes on a Twitter rampage. But like,
True.
ultimately, when you're buying Maker, you're buying a stable of you're buying that network, right?
Right.
Horses.
What's the worth of that network when people can just come and go as they please?
I don't-
according to the contract.
I mean, the thing is, I think we're shifting to a new environment of internet personalities, which are these floating entities, and what you want are the shows. You want the products.
You follow
right?
them.
It's actually more indicative of how the landscape of YouTube and then whatever platform coexist with YouTube maybe someday. Like it's interesting because he may have a thing on MLG, but then this other thing that he does is going to go on YouTube, but then this other thing that he does is going to go on Twitch.
So what's the point in running an MCN then?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, we can't answer that.
I don't know, Joel.
I don't know. We're not sure.
You tell us, Joel.
Yeah, because at this point, I
You
feel like
do all the MCN stuff.
yeah, you would know
Or
this
you've
probably
seen
better
it.
than
Well,
anybody
that's
else.
why I think that it's more important to have an MC. If you're going to run a network, the network needs to have a brand and intellectual property associated with it. If, like, for example, Maker owned Broken, which they clearly don't. Maybe
Right.
they do. Maybe they do own it. Maybe they're licensing it to MLG. I don't know.
That's true.
But that
But
could
it's
be
it's assumed that
possible, I guess.
PewDiePie is doing whatever he wants because he's PewDiePie.
I would assume that as well because you don't. None of those press releases said anything about Maker.
But we also don't know that.
But we don't know that.
We have no idea. I mean, like, we don't know what PewDiePie's contract is. Also, I
Welcome
want
to the Rampant Speculation Podcast.
Yeah, well, I want to get this in before there's a lot of comments saying, "Why are we only talking about PewDiePie?" Because
I'm one of them.
well, here, I know it's funny. It's funny you asked the question because we've noticed, and everybody else has noticed now on the internet that when you report on PewDiePie, hundreds of thousands of people watch
Yeah.
or read, and this is something that we didn't know. We didn't know a couple of weeks ago that this guy is driving more views than huge video games like Destiny. It's absurd. I can't believe it.
He is a public. The way that I feel about it is, a few months ago, he got upset with us for using with ETC for using his face on a thumbnail.
That's right, yeah.
And we apologized. And we talked to him, and he was totally cool with
Yeah.
it. And then a couple months ago, or a couple weeks ago, Adam reached out to see if he'd be okay with us. Same deal. He was fine with it as long as we asked him. At this point, I feel like he's a big enough public figure. It's not like In Touch has to ask
Brad
Jennifer
Pitt.
Aniston,
Oh, right,
Brad
right.
Pitt's permission to use his face on the cover. He's a public
yeah.
figure.
Well,
and if you're making news, then we get to report the news.
Well, okay. In the same vein, a similar thing with like Let's Players. There was a thing going on for a while where it was always like, it was kind of understood that, hey, if I say the name of your game in my description, it's cool that I use your gameplay, or like it's cool that I make money off of your game.
I see.
And that was never really discussed. It was just kind of like it was like the unspoken rule of like, hey, if you're gonna play my game, at least be cool about it. And it's the same thing with the internet. It's actually one of the things I like about it. It is the Wild West, and people have to just kind of like be cool. So it's like, yes, legally we're allowed to use PewDiePie's face or anyone's face, Joel's face, doesn't matter. But
No,
it's
you
like,
can't use my face.
but well, no, it's just like, just be cool about it and like
you can
ask.
Yeah.
It's nice if you ask before just being an asshole and just saying, well, I can do whatever I want, because the internet's not about that.
Well, interestingly enough, we did that the first time because we were like, oh, we reported this story, not many people have picked it up, like, we'll give this a shot. Now, we're behind. I've seen this on every single video game blog today,
Well.
and I was like, geez, like, everybody's reporting on PewDiePie. I never would have thought, never would have guessed, and I'm sure they didn't ask him. I'm sure they're just like, well, this is, and Variety reported on it.
Yeah.
Like this is something that is national. This is not national news. It's international. It's world news.
Variety printed up a press release, is what they did.
Well, right, but either way, they picked it up.
But they picked it
and
up.
put it on the internet.
Yeah.
So it's
Listen,
kind of
we don't ask Gabe Newell's permission to use his face with googly eyes in a thumbnail.
We don't?
no, absolutely
Aw,
not.
Papa Gabe.
But we stopped.
Every single time we do it, he writes us a letter and he goes, "Dear guys at Inside Games."
Dearest people.
It takes like 3 weeks to
yeah,
get to us.
and he
Though,
goes,
so we
he
don't
goes,
know.
"Thank you for doing the funny picture of me."
Another question I have about this whole deal with PewDiePie and MLG is: does this mean that other YouTubers are going to start doing this sort of same thing? And is this an eventual migration off of YouTube? I don't know.
Well, we've discussed
sure.
that a few times, like even just as a company or everything that we do, that being dependent on one company is never a great thing.
Right.
I mean, like, I will say YouTube's a great platform, and if I ever look for a video, it's the first place I always go.
Always.
I mean, YouTube is synonymous with video.
Yep.
Well, it's
People
the number
say
2 search
YouTube.
engine.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, YouTube that video. You don't say
Yeah.
search that video, or like check it out on Vimeo.
Yeah, whatever.
It's almost a monopoly at this point. But in terms of a business, you want to branch out. You want to have your
Different platforms.
You want different platforms. Like we're trying it with the podcast of like, okay, can we be on a streaming service or something else instead of just YouTube? But most of our numbers come from YouTube.
Yep.
That's just how it is.
Yeah.
And yeah, it'd be really curious to see if there. This happened actually when the content ID thing went through. Everyone started looking for a new home. Like,
I'm leaving YouTube.
Yeah.
No, I'm leaving YouTube. I'm going to start my own thing. And it's like, you can't, because YouTube is giant and it's free. And
And
Google's
everybody's already there.
Yeah.
Google's the only one who can support that kind of infrastructure. No one else can. And so it's like, 14 kids are going to be like, yeah, this is great. And then they're going to get their bill for the server they use. And they go, Oh shit, we gotta start charging.
There's also like, I mean, hundreds of resources on YouTube that no other video platform has. But again, I think it's on the way. I mean, I don't think that people are going to be leaving YouTube, but I think they'll probably end up going to a bunch of different platforms, which is going to suck for people that follow PewDiePie or Rooster Teeth or whoever else, because then they have to go to 4 or 5 different websites to follow their favorite guys. And like Joel's saying, it's driven by personality, so I don't think that'll drive people away from following them.
Well, I think
they
Rooster
will.
Teeth actually does it right, and I'm totally biased. I'm wearing my Achievement Hunter shirt right now, but that's fine. They started with a website, and then they went to YouTube. So
Yeah.
like, if
We
you're,
did too. To be
well,
fair.
no, but
Yeah,
the way
right.
Rooster Teeth did it though was they put their content there first, and they give it. They basically give it to people, subscribers or founders first, sponsors.
But they had to pay.
Yeah, you have to pay, but you get special access, and they have a pretty good forum system. They have profiles and stuff. Like, couples have met on there, friends have met there. Like, it's an actual website, whereas kind of Machinima was not. It was not.
We need a forum.
I mean, a forum.
We use Reddit because it's free.
It's a subreddit, yeah.
All right.
So here's kind of an interesting problem that I've been turning over in my head, relating to the viability of having a YouTube competitor. Basically, it seems like YouTube is good enough. It's the market principle of it doesn't have to be good; it just has to be good enough.
Right.
So for a real competitor to exist, you have to do one of two things. You either have to throw a bunch of money at the problem, which is what MLG has basically done, I assume.
Also, Bing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Bing video or whatever.
I think
guess when
Bing's
think
really
about
good
it-
for travel. Sorry,
Yes.
that's what I've heard.
Yes.
When I think about it, it's and this is not for me to answer, otherwise I'd be a billionaire, but for something to beat YouTube or even capture a portion of YouTube's market, it has to do what YouTube does better than YouTube does.
Right.
And YouTube is pretty good.
Yeah.
Despite everybody wanting to complain about it, it's free. They only ask you don't use other people's licensed property, which is fair. And they
Well, that's so they don't get sued by
Well, sure.
corporations who are all coming after them.
and then they're willing to do a kind of crappy ad sales for you for free. I mean, they take their cut, but as a service, it's hard to ask for more than that. So when I think about like, okay, what service could potentially capture away some of the market from YouTube?
None.
It has to be something that has very deep pockets, and they're just willing to pay content creators more.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure that can exist because Google's kind of the biggest company ever.
Right, they'd have to operate at a loss, like
But-
Google was able to.
Yeah.
For years, when they bought YouTube for $1.65 billion or whatever it is, they said, "Look, we know we're going to lose money on this, but
It's a long
that's
haul.
fine.
Yeah, it's a long haul.
We have $1 trillion in the bank. We're fine. We can buy World War II again."
It's a similar problem with competitors for Twitch. Twitch captured the market because they came out with a service that worked very well. And now, like, Zubu and Hitbox are trying to compete with them, basically with the same platform tools but higher CPMs. They're basically just trying to buy away the market, and that doesn't seem viable. It doesn't seem like you're going to be able to capture people quick enough
Right.
to get to a subsistence level. And that's what kind of worries me about MLG TV. Again, I don't know their business model. I don't know how in the red they're operating. I assume
Sure.
they're operating in the red big time.
With
But when
that
they're buying PewDiePie, it's
Right.
like, do you really think this is going to convert enough viewers to make the rest of your service valuable, especially if this is your business plan?
I wish we
don't
could see
know.
the numbers. I really wish we could see the
Well,
numbers.
also, with that said, though, I like that MLG exists. I like that Twitch exists. I like that
competition.
Vimeo. I like competition. I've always said that. Where people always go, PS4, Xbox, which one's better? I'm like, it's good to
Atari.
have both. Well, I always say both, and it's like you shouldn't align yourself with one thing. So like, YouTube's great, but they're not great at streaming. Twitch is pretty damn good at streaming. I like Twitch. So it's just good to have different choices. That's all.
It's really worrisome to me that those choices only come off the back of investment capital. You would think the American
welcome
spirit
to
should-
capitalism.
Yeah,
there.
I mean, that's-
Right.
Pinko, commie, cocksucker,
Well,
motherfucker.
but that means it's not real, that means it's not a real choice. It just means that there's a company who convinced some rich old guy to give
Correct.
them a big check.
Yeah.
And
Sure.
as long as that check lasts, the
Yeah.
competition will last. But as soon as the check's gone, they
or
pack it in and
or
go.
until the product is so successful that it's making money.
Yeah.
Which is where we are right now.
That's what it's the essence of capitalism. That's
Sure.
exactly, like whatever. Basically, the best will succeed, in theory. So I don't know. I'm not sure.
That's why Apple's making a smartwatch.
All right. Well, now that we've solved YouTube,
we did it.
time to
fixed
go
it.
on to Lawrence's preview corner, which is a very quick thing that I'm going to run through real fast. Basically,
What is this? Go on. Tell me.
I got the chance to play some games that aren't out yet. I'm going to tell you about them. And I'm only going to do that because I did that to get the footage that you're seeing now. So
okay.
that's why. And I'm going to assume that people care about Forza. So Forza Horizon 2 is a game about cars. One of the things that... Thank you.
One guy.
Oh, that's right. This was when we were in San Francisco sailing boats.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, you guys were sailing boats. I was driving cars.
I'll tell you more on that later. Tell us about video games.
I was just sitting in a hotel room.
So if you guys are unaware, I'm not sure that Horizon really caught on with people, but it's kind of the more arcadey, looser version of Forza. It's open world. The AI drivers are a little more goofy. They'll bump into you, and it doesn't really matter. You get points for drifting, things like that. But Forza Horizon 2 is coming out. It looks awesome. I mean, it's easy for racing games to look good, but this looks really fucking good. It's got weather cycles now. Points. There's
Cars.
Cars. One of the big things I'm looking forward to is the soundtrack, because the first Horizon, had a phenomenal soundtrack. Learned a lot of new bands from that.
There's just a bunch of U2 songs.
So what's the difference between Forza Horizon and Forza? Like,
It's more arcade.
Yeah, one's
I know, but I heard that. But like, what else?
That's it.
Forza's more of the sim. Like, you will drive on actual racetracks,
Gotcha, okay.
like Nürburgring and like Le Mans Circuit and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Horizon is just like kind of an interpretation of realistic settings. So Horizon 1 was basically Colorado, but abstracted out to be this weird electronica
So you're
racing
saying
festival.
Horizon's more fun?
Yeah.
It's the
It's
fun
like
Depending
an
on what you
arcade
want,
style.
yes.
I mean, it's the difference between Need for Speed and Gran Turismo.
Basically, yeah. So Horizon 2, Xbox One exclusive, coming something. But if you're seeing these cars driving around and that interests you, look it up. And then I also got to play the Master Chief Collection, which was really cool.
Hey,
Actually,
son
the
of a
thing
bitch.
that excited me more is they showed some of the Halo channel, and I kind of told Adam a little bit about this, but they're making like a single destination for all the transmedia stuff in Halo. So you can go there to watch Forward Unto Dawn. But the really cool thing, and Nightfall. But the really cool thing about it is, say you're watching Nightfall, you can pause it at any time, and there will be like a list of characters and items in that scene, and then you can like hit that with your controller. It'll take you to like some Halo wiki telling you about that character, their timeline of where they are, what they're doing, how that influences something else.
Adam's never gonna leave his house.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
Never
exactly.
gonna leave
I mean,
his
he
house.
wasn't going to anyway, but
The thing that I love about that is it really highlights the difference between 343 and Bungie about how they approach the story.
Yeah.
Because Bungie was super hands off, but 343 seems to be like, okay, if you want to learn about Halo, we're actually going to give you the tools, which I appreciate. Because good God, I've been confused about Halo for about 10 years now.
And that's why everyone thinks I'm crazy when I'm like, dude, Halo's got a cool story, and everyone's like, it's a space robot shooting green aliens. I'm like, but there's so much more. No one believes me. Which is fine. That makes sense when you look at it on the surface. And I'm actually glad they're doing all this stuff because, like, look, you can finally read about this nerdy stuff. Most people won't.
Yeah.
But it's the sort of shit that I actually like. So as a fan, I'm got such a hard on for this.
I'm looking forward to it because my surface level impression of Halo back when it was super popular was Robot Man shooting aliens and just snapping their necks, and then just like the comedy of having this
Bless you.
oh my god.
angelic soaring theme, like, oh, it's so magical and mystical. Cut to Master Chief just like punching an alien
punching
in the face
punching dudes.
until his skull liquefies. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay.
Fucking awesome.
But I'm looking forward to learning the more sophisticated side of Halo.
Well, it's not sophisticated, but there's just more of a lore there, and it's
You're boring, Joel.
I know.
I'm getting bored too.
I'm sorry.
PewDiePie
Joel
again.
falling asleep.
No, I want to talk
So
about Destiny.
one
and
last bit
Halo.
about Halo.
All right.
One thing that I thought was super cool is, they have the remastered edition where you can switch back and forth, but they're actually remastering the soundtrack and the sound effects as well, which I don't think they did with Anniversary. So explosions are more explodier, and then when you switch back and forth, you get to hear how crappy it used to sound and how awesome it sounds now. But the soundtrack is getting reorchestrated too, which is the big thing I'm excited about, because I think Halo 2 had my favorite soundtrack out of the
Is it
whole-
reorchestrated by Hans Zimmer?
No,
you do it?
Halo 2 had Breaking Benjamin and
It wasn't
Hoobastank.
in the game.
Yes, it was.
What? Where?
Certain missions, and then
Remember that part where Master Chief said, "Now it's time to rock out to some cool jazz."
Smooth Criminal by Alien Ant Farm.
what happened? So Incubus is in there somewhere. They did a lot of the instrumental stuff.
Because I remember Blow Me Away. Like, I used to work out to that song in college.
I'm just saying, Bungie went crazy with Halo 2. They're just kind of like, we can do no wrong. Let's get Incubus in here and Hoobastank.
I mean, more
Those
these
memorable
soundtracks.
bands.
Like
2002 was
Peril is a
awesome.
Oh, it was a
really
good year
track.
Yeah.
for Hoobastank.
Look, everyone was
Not for
wearing
us.
dicky pants, listening to K-Rock, and had a razor, whatever the.
Go see Triple X and come
Were
on
you
and play
doing
Halo
that?
2.
No, I had Heelys. I never had Heelys.
Wheelies.
No, Heelys were not cool.
I was too old.
Or they had that stupid flip phone, the original smartphone, whatever it was.
There was a Razor.
There was the
Motorola.
Razor, and then there was the big one with a flip screen.
What about the Matrix 2 phone?
I
that shot
can't
out?
remember. No one had a Matrix phone. Anyway,
I
stop.
worked at Best Buy when they were trying to sell those things. They came in weird little lunch boxes.
And the reason is yeah.
Oh my god.
Bruce does great karaoke, by the way.
And that's the end of Lawrence's preview corner.
Okay. I'm glad you had fun. We went sailing.
Should we move on to the mid-roll before
you
we
should.
tell the sailing story?
Well, I can't tell too much of the sailing story because we have to save it.
I love it.
Yeah, do your mid-roll. And
FanDuel.
Man,
We'll talk about.
I'm drying up on segues here. Sorry, guys. Something just like football. Football like FanDuel.com. FanDuel is a fantasy football website. I don't want to say league because it's not really a league. You play week to week, which if you've ever been in a league before, is awesome because being in a league is kind of annoying after a while. But the other big thing about FanDuel is you can win real money by playing on FanDuel.com.
What?
Yeah. Basically, you load up some money into your account. You join a weekly competition. The more people in it, the more money you stand to win, but also the higher the ante, basically. And then you draft up your players for that week to a specified salary cap. You get points based on how they perform in their games that week, and then depending on where you place, you get real money for playing.
Joel.
Be you, Joel.
Ay, Dios mío!
Here's the thing. Joel watches football.
I do.
Which nobody knows. He
Man.
watches football every week.
College and pro. I spend 2 days of a week.
Joel, man, yeah, you can win
Joel,
some real
Joel
cash.
should
But I've actually never done fantasy.
Well, I was going to say, so here's the thing. We keep talking about we're going to do this.
Yeah.
We got to fucking do it.
we do it now?
We got to do this. So
things keep happening.
We have TV now. I can watch football.
you cannot.
Oh,
you
you guys
can
can
watch
do it.
football live on
excellent.
Sunday, and we should get Joel over there. Invite Joel over. We'll all have a beer. We'll take our pants
We
off.
can be like real dudes.
Take our shirts off. We'll take our underwear off.
Is it pro only? Because I don't know pro football as well as I know college ball.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm not
I'm
sure.
pretty sure it's pro only.
I talked to Scott McDonald about it today. He's into it. He wants to do it with me.
Oh yeah,
So,
Scott will definitely do it.
Yeah.
You join mid-season?
Yes.
Enjoy
That's
like
the
every
thing.
week.
It's,
You can play week
like I
to
said,
week.
it's week to week, so you can play for 1 week, take a break if you're traveling.
We take our pants off.
Yeah.
We'll take our shirts off.
And win real money!
We'll take our underwear off.
We gonna be rich.
Real money.
Nah, well, I'm really unlucky when it comes to sports, but I'm happy. Hey, do you guys want to wait? Are we free this Sunday? Can we hang out this Sunday?
Let's
Yeah,
hang out
we
this
can.
Sunday.
Let's watch football at Bruce's house. And
Naked
Lawrence's
football.
Wait, hold on. Wait, it got naked. It got
No.
naked. Why is
Wait,
it
that's the day
naked?
before we leave, right?
Yeah.
I gotta pack and do laundry that day.
It's not gonna take you 24 hours, bro.
Yeah, it is,
House.
bro.
Do it at Bruce's house.
Do you know how many? I have to iron my pants so there's a perfect.
Shut up about your pants.
Naked football.
So for FanDuel.com, we have a special code.
Do you
want
want to eat some
football? If you would like to win money on the footballs, go to FanDuel.com, click on the microphone in the upper right-hand corner, and use our code GAMER to sign up. Now that will get you basically a deposit match up to $200. So you go there, you use the code, you put in $10, they give you $10. You put in $200, they'll give you another $200. Now I asked, you can't just use the code, get your $400, and run away.
So
it's like special promo money.
Is it a new 50 people every week? Do we know,
You know,
that? Do we know yet?
They keep sending me the ad copy, and every time it says only good for the first 50 people.
So I'm wondering. It must be a new 50 people every week.
I hope so, because boy, I would hate to. Send
Boy,
somebody
howdy.
that.
Well, people. Look, here's the thing. They
What
should
if
be
I
signing up for that because then they match the.
See, here's the thing. I want to use it, but I feel bad like taking one of the slots.
Yeah, you shouldn't do that.
Well, you don't have to input gamer into the.
No, you don't. Yeah,
microphone
you
in
can
the
just
upper
start
corner
being a
of
normal
the-
player.
Nice job,
Listeners,
nice job,
we
Joel.
encourage you
Good
to
podcast,
use our
dude.
code GAMER. So
this
FanDuel.com, where
professionally?
every week is a new season. That's FANDUEL.com. Sign up today and use the code GAMER. GAMER. Thank you, FanDuel.
Oh, you ready for some naked football?
And
Are
actually,
you ready for
like I
some-
said, we have been meaning to sign up for it. We were in San Francisco just last week.
A lot of travel. Very busy.
We've been traveling. Destiny came out. Been very busy. But a fan hit me up on Reddit. It was kind of like, "Hey, you said you guys stand behind every product that you put on your show." The way it works, just to clarify, most of the things that we do advertise on here, yes, we do have experience with, and we stand by it. It's something that we think is cool. Other things like FanDuel, we go, "That's a cool idea.
Yeah.
I'm into that. I'm okay telling other people, check this thing out because it's something I'm willing to try." We haven't yet tried it, but I promise we will do it.
We
And if
gonna
you
do
want-
it.
Well, personally,
If you want to
busy boys.
join us too, like battle us. That would be kind of cool.
Personally, I will vouch for the reason because I was the one that sort of picked FanDuel as a sponsor.
Yeah.
And the reason I did it is because as somebody that plays video games and as somebody that likes to watch football, because I didn't like to watch football before I started fantasy football.
Right.
And it immediately keyed in with me. And I was like, this makes so much sense. And everybody that I know that is into video games and then starts fantasy football cannot stop. They are addicted.
You a little nerd.
That's why I like RPGs like Joel. So that's one of those things that I feel like
it's fucking awesome.
everybody that plays video games should be trying fantasy football at some point. FanDuel's a good way to do it.
So we're gonna do it this Sunday.
Yep.
I promise.
Naked football.
We're gonna get naked.
Speaking of being naked, Destiny came out.
Yeah.
And this is, we talked about this a little bit in one of the dailies, but there does seem to be a divergence between the critical consensus on Destiny and the people that are just playing it and having fun and not giving a crap.
We got a whole news episode on it
Which one
today.
are we?
Exactly. I think we tend to be the folks who are just playing it and having fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I gave it a 3 out of 10. I hated it.
Oh yeah.
It's as if scores don't mean shit.
I gave it a 2 out of 10 actually.
It
So
feels like you haven't even really played it. Like
1 out of 10.
you played it so hard that you didn't even really play it
0 out of 10.
at all.
All the way down.
When,
You know, was the last time I cared about a score when X-Play was a thing. Because I used to watch.
Out of 5.
Yeah. No, I used to watch X-Play religiously, and it actually mattered to me deeply what Adam and Morgan thought about a game.
Yeah.
We
and
mean
they
what we
rated it.
told Adam and Morgan to think about
Well,
a game.
after
Alright,
then,
Joel,
well, the
calm
illusion
down.
went away when I started working at G4, and I saw that they did have writers, and then I'm like, because then I realized there's no way they could review all these games individually. But like Morgan was playing Okami one day, and then I saw Cecil playing Black. Remember that game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember him playing it, and I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, I bet he's gonna give it a 4 out of 5 because I played it. And I'm like, feels like a 4 out of 5. And I went up to his desk and said, "Hey Adam," I was like, "Hey, what's up?" I'm like, "What do you give him Black?" He goes, "I don't know. I'm thinking a 4 out of 5." And I just turned around and went,
I could do this.
so good.
Then they went and jerked off in the bathroom.
but then I also realized it's just a guessing game, and it's just you aligning yourself along with people who you typically like, but with game blogs and everything else and other review journalists and stuff, I feel like they're less about people who you like and it's more about the outlet. It's not the individual. I don't know. There's few people who review games like Total Biscuit, who's all personality, and he doesn't give it a score, obviously. Angry Joe does give scores, but I feel like that's the one thing that people don't skip. Like most reviews, like if you go to IGN or whatever, you just scroll to the last, and you're like, I just give me the TLDR.
Control N. Oh, there it
With like Angry Joe, they're like, I'll get through his reviews, and like sometimes I'll forget that he scores it because it's like he just did a 23-minute video on the Old Republic, and it's like, oh shit.
That's
because
why
it's super
what,
in depth.
That's what scores are. They're TLDRs. I mean, like, and because we always had this argument on Attack the Show because I reviewed products there for years, and they would always come up like every 2-3 months. They're always like, we need to get rid of the score. I'm like, okay, I understand why you're saying that. It makes sense to me. Like, you'd rather just say you should buy it or don't buy it or whatever. Right. However, everybody knows what a score is. Everybody knows what a 7 out of 10 is. Everybody knows what a 4 out of 5 is. And you can't go buy it because that doesn't make any sense. What happens if you don't want it?
Or what if you already have like
Or what if-
the version that came out 6 months ago?
You're not going to buy it. So it's one of those things that then in the future you can go back and go, oh, that got a 4 out of 5. That means it's probably something that I would like because I align myself with the Attack the Show. So to me, a score always made sense. It still makes sense to me. But I guess the real issue is who the reviewer is.
How do you feel about when you're counting stuff out of 10?
Yeah.
I think it's like a 3 out of 5.
Well, but I'm saying like the educational system of this country kind of indicates that
It implies that a 7
if
is
it's
passing
below
grade.
a 70, you're like whoops.
Yeah.
But that basically means that games that come out and get a 5 out of 10 are basically they might as well have gotten a 2 out of 10. It doesn't matter.
Well, it is a weird sort of scoring system that, like, it's kind of weird that because of Metacritic, everyone kind of moved towards the 10 out of 10. That was kind of forced on people, and you're right, like, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. But, like, I remember when Halo 3 or something got, like, an 8.9 from some website, I swear some kids killed themselves. They're like, I can't live in a world where Halo gets an 8.9 from GamerFury.com. And they're like, who's that? It doesn't matter.
Actually, Adam, that was GamerFurry.com.
Oh, that's why. No
I
wonder.
know.
They love those .9s.
They're legit.
Remember my history.
Well, we had a big long argument on Attack of the Show about halves, about 3.5 versus 3 out of 5.
Yeah, it does as well.
And it was just one of those things that I always wanted the halves because I sided with the no product is perfect, so we could never give it something a 5 out of 5. And once they abolished the halves, I had to start giving 5 out of 5s because it was one of those things where I was like, well, you know, the people don't know what a half is, and I was always like, I got to give them more credit than that. They must know what a half is. So
On X-Play, the argument was like, how far do you subdivide it? Like, if something is so good that you recommend buying it with all of your heart, it doesn't matter if it's perfect or not. What it matters is like, this is something that you need to experience.
Right.
Right.
And they like that a lot more than
I don't know, maybe 4.5 because it's not a perfect game. Well, what are you gonna give 5 out of 5 to? Nothing.
Nothing is perfect, Joel.
Well,
Not
why-
even you.
That's why you
well,
don't
hold
say
on
5
now.
out of 5 is perfect. Also,
Well, no, that's what we did. Eventually, we ended up going that way. So that a 5 out of 5 wasn't perfect. It was just one of the best things we'd seen.
Kind of along those lines, I saw a comment on the last podcast that to me highlights one of the undercurrents of this discussion about Destiny. Sly Solace says, "Why is it that people who have an opinion on the game are on extremes, saying that it is either excellent or trash? Playing the game, I know it's definitely overhyped. What wouldn't be with that kind of marketing budget? But by no means is it trash or even an average game. It's so hard to call a game just good or great. Just because it's not the second coming of an FPS doesn't make it a garbage game. It's still very fun to play."
Right.
So it's one of those, like, and maybe this is just internet discourse, but any tempered statement gets ignored, whereas the extremes are the ones that kind of rally everyone.
Right.
So
You can't just say, "Oh, I liked it."
Yeah.
It's this kind of sort of weird thing. Like Wolfenstein's kind of a good example, where we were all kind of like, "Wow, this game's really good," but it's like it's just kind of a good game. It reminded me.
It does well.
Yeah, it reminded me a lot of THQ games that came out. They didn't suck your dick and go crazy, but they were always like pretty good. Like Space Marine was really good, and like the Saints Row series, I was always like I played Saints Row 2. I was like, this is a really good game. I'm not gonna go yell at people online about it and claim it's the best game ever, but like, yeah, I'd recommend a friend play this. Like, yeah, it's a pretty good game, but it didn't get overhyped. And like, I'm kind of the same with Destiny, but it's like it scratches that itch that I felt like I've had for a long time of kind of balancing a fantasy sci-fi game. Like I've said this before, like it's a game that I feel like was made for me. And so that's how I say, I'm like, so if you like the things I like, you might like this game. If some guy's like gets bored of it in the first 10 minutes and he doesn't like it, then the next 10 hours aren't going to change his mind.
Right. Exactly.
If he's like, I don't like shooting things. And it's like, well, Joel,
not gonna like
this game.
I'm not going to make you play this game.
The game is about shooting.
and I won't because then I'll just complain about it.
Actually, Joel did see me customizing my character
Yeah, Joel, you're
online,
gonna love it.
and he was like, "Ooh, armor."
I love that robe.
Yeah, well, he was going like stats. I like stats.
It's something we talk about constantly, and I think Bruce has a Bruce's idea of, well, I paid $60 for it, so I have to defend my purchase.
Always.
Yeah.
Totally valid. I was thinking about it as well, and this is I'm gonna say something super obvious, and I'm gonna explain. It's also a level of maturity thing. When you're a kid, you're like, blue is my fucking favorite color, and if you think red is your favorite color, you're a fucking idiot. Fuck
Hold
you.
on, Joel. Blue is the best color.
We all know that, James.
We
Don't
get
want
you're just
them
making
to
an
know that
extreme
He's making a
example,
point.
but we all agree that blue is
Rhetorical.
the best color ever made.
But you, as a child, that's your opinion about everything. Like, I hated fucking grape jelly as a kid, or like I hated Fritos, but I love Doritos, or whatever it is.
I love both.
Yeah.
I think as you get older and you start to experience more things, you have a more nuanced, temperate outlook as to your opinions.
Of course.
And it just so happens that a lot of the YouTube audience, and I'm not criticizing you guys,
Uh-oh.
is a little bit younger, and they still have this really passionate mindset about this is what identifies me as a person, and if anyone attacks this thing that I identify with, they're attacking me as a person.
Which no one is.
No one is.
At all.
We're just saying the things you like are fucking dumb.
That's true. So then I am attacking them as a person. Because
Well,
they're retarded.
here's the thing.
It's a joke.
I'm kidding.
Here's the thing. Someone might see it as stupid. Someone might find enjoyment out of it. And it's the sort of thing with Transformers that I've recently kind of embraced. Like, there are different forms of entertainment. It is not my place for me to go to your house or come into your life and go, you shouldn't like this thing. And it's kind of the same thing of going into comments and expressing your opinion as if it matters. Like, hey, everyone, this is what I think. And it's usually just this kind of hive mind mentality of like, yes, you are set. Like, it's getting sad now. I can go into Reddit threads and I know what the top comment is going to be. I can go in there and be like, someone's going to make a joke about Optimus. Oh, there it is. Like, and it's kind of depressing now. And it's sad that the internet has kind of become predictable in that sense because I'm just reading the same thing over and over. But if you like things, you like to have fun, as long as you're not hurting anybody.
Well, even the thing I like about Destiny is that it is a combination of a bunch of different genres. Where oh, it's just Borderlands. It's not just Borderlands.
Sure.
I think it's a better looking Borderlands, number one. But number two, I feel like from what I've seen, it does the MMO leveling up and obviously customization and all that stuff really, really well. And the reason I know that is because I saw Joel drooling over it. And Joel loves MMOs and all that customization bullshit.
Correction. Love.
Uh-oh.
No, you love League of Legends. Yeah, and that has a lot of that, like stat comparing and all that other shit. So it's a really good combination of genres, and that's why I feel like, and also Bungie's an amazing developer at shooters, and that's one of those things that I feel like if you've got a problem with the shooting aspect of it and you like shooters, then you probably need to re-examine your life or something.
It is.
Bungie knows exactly what they're doing.
It's one of the tightest first-person shooters I've played in terms of the mechanics that are in there. It's very Halo, obviously,
Right.
But it's just enough different stuff that I'm really into it. Jesus. But here's the other thing. So the two biggest complaints I've seen, and I'm not trying to be like Bungie Defense Force over here,
But you are.
well, here's the thing too. I put about 20 hours into the game. We're playing on both Xbox and PS4 because we want to play with as many people as possible, fans eventually too when we level up and stuff. I'm only level 20 on my PS4 character, my Warlock. And the biggest complaints I've seen are people going, "Where'd all that $500 million go?" Well, they didn't put it all into one game. It was R&D for an engine that's going to last across 3 games. They're developing on 4 different systems now, where they originally were only developing for 1, and possibly a 5th, which would be PC. So
You make it sound so difficult to create a brand new IP franchise, multi-platform for next-gen technology.
not to mention, they're hiring some of the best people out there. There's a guy I met a couple of years ago at PAX who said, he's like, "Yeah, I'm working on the next Bungie game." I'm like, "Oh, can you tell me about it?" He's like, "No." I'm like, "Oh, what'd you work before?" "Rockstar." I'm like, "Oh, on what?" "Red Dead Redemption."
Yeah, so he left.
He left. He made one of the best open world games to go work on this. So it's like they hire top talent. You don't just pay some dude $30,000 and hope he does well. They put some really expensive R&D behind this in terms of asset creation and how the engine can scale and all these things. And then the next complaint is everyone's complaining about the story or lack of story. I'm not through it, but we're already kind of speculating as to what the Traveler is and what the Darkness is. And it is a very light story, but there are 2 games left, and there's a lot of DLC on the way, and there's a lot of kind of expansions, and it is kind of MMOS. So it's kind of like complaining about the story of World of Warcraft. If there was
No
one.
one complains about the story of World of Warcraft.
Also-
I did.
Also,
until Warlords of Draenor comes out.
we were discussing the Master Chief Collection earlier and how Bungie made games already in their extremely popular, well-received franchise that most people didn't understand the story of either.
Yeah, I mean, actually, on that point, I always say this. Bungie's fantastic at creating universes, and everything's sort of people come up to them "Is the Traveler or the Darkness the same thing?" And they go, "Oh, I don't know." And they really go, "I don't know."
Yeah.
Maybe, sure.
Here's the thing. I'm glad that if they genuinely don't know, I'm glad. Because that means they were making a game. You
Yeah.
know? They
Well-
weren't writing a script.
It's the same. Well, exactly. It's the sort of thing where people are like, "But The Last of Us is the greatest game ever." I'm like, "Yeah, but once I beat it, I was done." They're like, "But don't you want to go back and play in HDR?" And I'm like, "Not really, because it was mostly story, and I enjoyed the story, and it's over. I kind of don't want to go back because that game was really stressful."
But you can get it remastered.
It doesn't matter.
So the graphics are graphicer.
Yeah, but Destiny's fun, and I'm going to keep playing it, and I can play with my friends, and it's a good time. That's the difference that's there. And so this is what I'm actually hoping with Destiny 2. Once again, not being an apologist, but I think they've set up kind of a template, or they've at least set up pillars for the world that they have. They can bring in some really good writers now and be like, let's tell a really cool story in Destiny 2 now that we got people acquainted with this new world. Keep in mind, they combined fantasy and sci-fi into one game.
Yeah.
People don't
Star
typically
Wars
do
did
that.
I mean,
what else has done that besides Warhammer?
Star Wars.
Star Wars.
There are knights
no,
in
no,
space with
s-
swords and magic powers.
Star
Adam.
Wars is not sci-fi.
What? They're spaceships.
Hold on.
Whatever.
It's not sci-fi in the... Here's the thing.
It's
Destiny...
science fantasy.
Drew more cards.
There's not a lot of science, though. There's
What?
just spaceships.
No,
Those
There's
could
a
be...
lot of fake science.
There's,
But
they could
hold
be
on,
boats.
what's the science in Destiny? If
Space.
spaceships don't
Space
count.
travel. It talks about how people explored Mars.
Look, if I
and
was
found
paying
the
attention to this
Traveler.
conversation, I would tell you there's
We're
shitloads
absolutely not
of fake
discussing what
science in Star
sci-fi
Wars.
is. Let's discuss what Squarespace is. It's a website where you can make other websites.
Wait a
I'm
minute.
gonna make a Squarespace page explaining the differences between fantasy
Wars.
and sci-fi.
Science fiction without the science or fiction.
Please do. And listeners, you can do that yourself and possibly win a free year of a Squarespace business plan.
Oh, yeah.
Because we're doing a contest. If you would like to participate, just go over to squarespace.com, sign up for a free trial, and make a website using their easy-to-use tools. Whatever. Let's decide right now. What should we tell them to make?
A website?
What's
Yeah.
that?
Something
we
that
want-
we're not going to be bored of.
We want you to make the best Sean Poole spool, as he is known to his friends, fan site.
Actually, better than that. Make him a fan site / someplace he can direct future employers to, because he's not going to be here much longer.
Fan site and resume.
Yeah. Fan site resume for Sean Poole.
Absolutely.
Let's do
I don't
it.
want that
So
one.
fans, do that, and then I guess
I
just
don't want
tweet
that
us.
either.
Tweet us the link to the website.
bumper.
We'll decide the winner by next week's podcast, and the winner will get a free year of a business level Squarespace account
Badass.
that you can use for whatever you want, which may or may not include future gifts of Sean Poole.
Yeah,
I
they
feel
better.
like this is their opus. They just make this and then walk away.
Yeah,
is this?
I'm
So
done.
they have it
I
free
don't
for a
need it.
Are
year.
you kidding?
At any rate, just to give you the rundown on Squarespace as
Hamburger.
a service again, you can start a trial with no credit card and build your website
Oh my
today.
gosh, I got it.
When you decide to sign up for Squarespace, make sure to go to squarespace.com and use the offer code INSIDE to get 10% off your first purchase. And show support for us, because we need it. We're very poor. That's INSIDE at squarespace.com. Thank you, Squarespace, for supporting the Inside Gaming Podcast.
Anyway, so this is the difference in Star Wars. It
my
takes place in
gosh.
a fantasy world that has nothing to do with our
Galaxy,
own.
not world.
Sure, exactly, whatever.
How do I get in there?
Anything. Destiny takes place within the Milky Way, or like in our
I
solar
got the
system.
motorcycle in.
Earth, Mars, all these things. And then it throws a fantasy spin on it, which is cool, with warlocks and hunters and all this stuff. So it is a mix of science fiction, which is what if astronauts found this thing on Mars and then basically transformed everything into a Star Wars world.
What if a galaxy-spanning republic fell to a tyrant?
Yeah, your logic is just collapsing in on itself like
Just-
a dark star.
I'm just saying, here's the difference. In Star Wars, all those ships and stuff just kind of exist. They never. I know in the books and everything else they
Oh, there's an
explain
encyclopedia
like,
that
how they're
disagrees with you,
made.
Adam.
But here's the
Yeah.
thing: J.J. Abrams threw all that stuff in the kennel.
My favorite stage
Burn it
of
all.
Destiny
It's
is
gone.
when they make you build a intergalactic warp engine.
Yeah, that was
and
really
they
fun.
teach you using real world science how all of it works.
No.
Nothing you're
Do you
saying
hear what I'm
makes
saying?
any sense.
It starts out as sci-fi and then it turns into fantasy. That's what I like about it. Is it took a sci-fi world and then made it into a fantasy world.
But Star Wars did that. It starts out as sci-fi. They're attacking.
Doesn't make
there
it-
are space troopers
Abandon.
attacking a spaceship in space.
Abandon what
with
you're saying.
no
Abandon the
force.
argument. Abandon the argument.
Abandon the argument. Say you misheard the question.
Our
the
question
only
for
way you
you
can get out
guys
of
this
this.
week:
Let's move on
why
to
am I
community
right
highlights.
and everyone else is wrong?
Well, no, hold on. If you
God.
went, here's the thing: if you went to all the Bungie developers and asked them what their influences were, the first fucking thing they'd say is
Princess
Star
Bride.
Wars.
Oh.
They would say Star Wars
Actually,
immediately off the
absolutely.
bat.
No, they wouldn't. They wouldn't because they actually no.
Because I know them all and I'm friends with them and I
No,
met
no.
them at E3.
Shut up,
would say-
asshole!
they would say Star
I
Wars.
watched interviews and I read the whole Newsweek thing, and they actually asked themselves when they were making their next game. They said, "Okay, we finished Halo. What are we gonna do next?" And they're all big WoW nerds, and they're like, "Let's make
Star
fan-
Wars.
they're all-
Yeah.
They also made Myth, which was a fantasy game, and they're like, "Let's do fantasy again." But then half the other guys were like, "Yeah, but I really like sci-fi. Like we did a really good job with sci-fi with Halo." And they all started like, "Well, can we have our cake and eat it too?" And they like started breaking it down. They're like, "Let's
didn't even
find
do
a
that.
way of doing it," and they like did it. They made it work, and that's
shoot
what I
X or
like.
something.
Anyway,
Community highlights.
She's in it now.
So if you recall last week, we discussed YouTube comments.
Sure.
And basically asked the viewers how they interact with YouTube comments, basically. Got a lot of really interesting responses.
Why do I keep doing that?
Leading
Stop
off
hitting
with
B.
Jake Harrington. He said, I comment on almost every video. I always try to say something nice about it,
Get it
or try
wrong.
to join in on the chat. There are lots of guys like me on YouTube. I know because I chat with them in the comments section. And then this is the really interesting bit. He says, I really don't like that you act as if we don't exist.
What?
So
What's he talking about?
let me give you my interpretation of it, because a lot of our conversation was focused on the negativity of YouTube comments and
Yeah.
how it's hard to communicate through them.
we were kind of addressing the assholes, not the nice people.
Sure, but to his point, it can be difficult to find positive discussions on YouTube, even though I know they happen there. They're typically, for some reason, ranked a lot lower than all the negative, controversial ones that bubble to the top.
Right.
So, yeah, Jake, it's an interesting problem because we are aware those conversations exist. They're just really hard for us to find. So it's not like we're pretending you don't exist. Sometimes it's difficult for us to find you.
I don't want to sound like a dick, and I know that I will, but he does realize that that's a negative comment,
Yeah.
right?
That's fine.
So,
How dare you?
I mean,
But hey, at least
oh
you're
my
acknowledging
god,
that he
stop
exists.
hitting B.
I keep pressing the wrong button. Sorry.
So, but the thing is, so we noticed his comment because it was negative. So he just proved our point.
Yeah, and it is kind of an odd thing where YouTube kind of just rewards you for being negative. It's kind of odd.
Well, it's because you rally people by
Yeah.
being fervent about something, and if you like something, You're
Like
not
the
gonna
color blue?
You're not gonna be fervent about liking something.
am I supposed to go?
You're gonna be fervent if you're angry about something,
Mm-hmm.
and so that's why it rewards people that are basically summoning crowds around them. And
Mob
also you have
mentality.
to realize that how many comments are on our videos and how much sifting through YouTube's not that great comment staggering system where if you accidentally click away and go back, you're gone.
Can I give you
Yeah.
a hint to find the best comments? You do Control F, and then type in Joel into the
Yeah.
window.
Yeah.
And most of those are really
Really
excellent,
positive, yeah.
super positive comments.
Yeah, they're usually like, get rid of this Joel guy, bring back Chop Chop.
Yep.
Yep.
See, they love Chop Shop.
Yeah, bring back Chop
It's
Shop.
such a positive message.
There's a lot of people asking
Where's the
when's
door
Chop
to
Chop season
It's
2
like you gotta
coming.
drive around.
I just
You're
did.
730 meters away.
So
I know, but
straight
where?
to the money.
I went all the way
also
around.
chipped in. I'm gonna skip about halfway through the comment. He said that aside, I actually don't comment when I like a video. I usually just give it a like and that's it. When I do comment, it's usually to comments that sound intelligent but are wrong. I have come to realize that it's not worth my time arguing with inexperienced 12-year-olds. Also, some people are stupid. It might sound arrogant, but some people are honestly not too bright and can't process ideas as rationally as others. So that's kind of something we speculated, that if somebody likes a video, they just hit a like button and move on with their lives.
Yeah.
Whereas somebody who's angry, they get in there and try and really talk about
Well,
it.
it's Yelp syndrome. I feel like a thing is a lot more likely to have negative Yelp reviews than it is to have positive. Because if you have a good experience, you're just happy with your life and you keep moving on with your life.
Yeah.
One of the
If you're
reasons I
pissed off, then you decide you want to rant about it.
It's the sort of
and
thing
you
no one
become-
notices when you do a good job.
Yep.
The minute something goes wrong, everyone wants to bitch about it.
Yeah.
So that's just how it is. That's
One of the
human
reasons I really
psyche.
like asking the audience questions in both the QA and at the end of the daily episodes is because it actually generates discussion worth having, as opposed to like, this gameplay sucks. It wasn't The Sims 3. Where the fuck is Taunt? Oh, this is bullshit. Which
Oh, what was the thing that someone said about the Sims series? They said, I think they were addressing James, and they're saying the writing in the Tunt Life was much better.
Yeah, they weren't addressing me specifically, but there was a lot of discussion in the last Munt video about how inferior Munt is creatively to Tunt and Cunt, and as the creators of Tunt and Cunt, we can squash that right now and say that nothing they ever said was written. All he said was stupid things I made him say, which were generally misogynistic and or half retarded. So there was nothing written in it at all.
you're ruining the
Mystique.
you're breaking down the fourth wall.
This is the thing I've learned with that too, though, is that people always just want what they don't have. And so by creating a new character, Munt, we should have just made a new series of someone named Blunt, and then canceled that series immediately and said, we're bringing back Munt.
Oh,
yeah.
that's smart. Maybe we'll do that.
You preemptively create something that you just plan on canceling. But then there's gonna be someone being like, bring back Chop Chop, and you're like, no.
Is she gonna get in?
she's thinking
Neil
about
McAdam actually has a very interesting take on the idea that negativity gets celebrated. He said on the topic of YouTube comments, it is usually the negative comments that get a reply from people. So when Bruce says he will reply, and the kid shits themselves and goes, hi, Bruce. I'm not sure what that statement's all about, but he says, you guys are like celebrities to these kids. If they spot you only replying to negativity, then that's what they will do. I like to think I can always offer an opinion or suggestion, but I don't even expect you to read this. I'm in England, so maybe you won't see my
Away
comments
from
due to the time difference. But it is an interesting thing that it's true. I mean, when I see negativity, I'm more often to reply to it than somebody being like, hey, I really enjoy this. I mean, typically I like to leave a reply like, oh, thank you.
Well,
But-
there was the one a while ago where like James wasn't in a gameplay video, and it had like, I don't know, 100 upvotes, and they're like, oh my god, James is gone now too. I'm out of here. And I was like, oh my god, and 100 thumbs up. I'm like, people are seeing this crap. So I had to go in there and go, James went on vacation. He left for a wedding. People leave once in a while for a weekend. Chill out.
That being said, this is my last episode.
Oh, that's it. We're done.
I'm gone after.
So I guess
I'm just saying,
gotta
but
get out of there,
I was
right?
like, that was just more like just damage control, so that people wouldn't freak the fuck out. Like James left the company. He's like, no, he didn't.
Again, it all ties back to the whole idea of the negative comments sift to the top, and that's what we see. I think honestly, when we're always talking about this subreddit, but the subreddit is for the most part filled with positivity, and we're infinitely more active there.
Yeah.
Commenting on cool stuff that people make for us, compliments. People just leave like compliments for us, and we comment on that, and we say thank you all the time.
Yeah.
So if you feel like you're being lost in a sea of YouTube comments, it's probably because you actually are, by nature of how the comment system works on YouTube. And then you should go to where we can actually find you, on the subreddit, and then we're happy to praise your comments and thank you for watching and everything.
And make fun of your bad art.
We genuinely appreciate it. Yeah, even the bad art.
We love the bad art.
I love it.
Like Inside Gaming,
Yeah.
Gammon.
Yeah.
Are we doing fan art?
Fan art.
Yeah,
Move
we're
on to
pretty-
fan
That's
art.
my favorite part.
About to hit an hour here.
My favorite part.
Yeah.
I've got a timer.
Yeah, do you?
Joel, you want to play?
Well, we gotta
God, no.
we gotta close out of this so we can
Let
look
me
at the fan
rephrase
art.
that.
Oh yeah.
You
that's
don't
right.
want me to play.
Okay.
We're gonna fan art.
So there was actually 2 submissions inspired by our Five Nights at Freddy's thing, Zombie Mesh, who has done a lot of awesome art for us.
Yeah.
Drew his own interpretation.
Oh, that's so cool.
We're all so scared.
That's so cool.
Yeah, we're spooked.
Love it.
Thank you, Zombie Mesh.
That's the episode where James quit.
Yeah, that's the one I quit on.
Holy
Oh
shit!
man!
Oh, there's the cutouts of us.
Yeah, you guys might remember
finished-
this.
yeah, the finished product.
A few podcasts ago, we saw a work in progress, and here's the real deal.
Wow.
From A.H. Jess Abaltins.
What is that
on?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
What is that?
Is it a wall or a table or a?
Looks like
Is it chalk?
steel or something.
Yeah, it does.
Rusted.
Again, I don't know how I feel about covering up my genitalia, but
Yeah.
you do what you got to do.
People don't want to see it.
I love Adam. This depiction of Adam so much.
Yeah.
He's just a rectangle of a man who doesn't care about anything.
Yep, that's basically him.
Staring
What's that
ahead with his
shirt there
beady
he's
little
wearing?
eyes.
It's a bear.
So
It's his
adorable.
bear shirt.
I get it. Yeah.
And then next up, Adam got the greedy gremlin treatment.
Yeah.
God.
So cool.
Ooh, I like that I'm two-tone. I look like the guy from the Food Network.
I thought you were going to say the guy
Crazy-
from Hobo with a Shotgun.
Yeah, crazy Ivan like, discount vodka.
Yeah.
Emporium or
Hello there. Drink my drink with all my wrinkles.
It's interesting because Joel looked so distinguished,
I look like a
but
man.
Bruce and Adam look like crazy homeless
It-
men.
Yeah, we look really old.
This
beards.
could be an off-Broadway flyer for Fiddler on the Roof.
Yeah. it could-
Fiddler on the Roof. Extreme.
Fiddler on the Roofies.
I get it.
Ooh,
that's
there
me.
we go.
Just
All right.
dreads.
And then Reddit user BLA43 did inside Gamig.
Uh-huh.
This lovely little cross stitch.
So what do you think? Do you think he noticed it too late?
Yes. I actually think he noticed it while he was doing it. He's all,
"Fuck!"
no, I think he went fuck it and left it on.
Slam.
Well,
my head.
it's funny because the M kind of looks like an N. You know how it slants down?
Maybe he's
Yeah,
doing a
but it's
tribute
not where it
to
goes.
the QA of Yore when we used to misspell the subreddit.
Oh, maybe no.
I
I
missed
think he
it.
just accidentally misspelled it.
Yeah, I think he
and left
did
it.
spacing for the letters. He's like, "Fuck me."
The Noodle Captain drew you guys as cute little
Yeah.
Scribble Knots dudes.
What do we look like?
Why do I have underwear?
There's
on?
a fighting game that isn't there like a beat 'em up, like an Xbox Live Arcade beat 'em up that
There
has
was
characters that look
there
like
was
this?
like the Scott Pilgrim one, which
Yeah.
is that artist who usually does really raunchy shit. But
Yeah.
can't remember what that guy's name is.
Does anybody
We
know
should
why
be
I'm
on the
only,
app. We
only
should-
wearing underwear?
We should be on an
What's
Anamanaguchi
your-
album.
What's your? Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
Don't
Good call.
click anything, Joel. What are you
I'm
doing?
just moving it so it doesn't.
Just to remind you guys, Noodle Captain is also the guy who drew you as like awesome anime characters. The one that
Oh,
Jay
yeah,
in
the
particular
big-
The
likes.
big buff ones,
Yeah.
So Noodle Captain is expressing a range of style here.
I seriously.
Oh, very good.
Oh, good job, man. And then Irya Ajith, I hope I pronounced that correctly, made the coolest animatic.
Yeah, I guess it is kind of an animatic. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's basically Adam being arrow repellent, being the coolest dude in the world.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
It's like 300.
I was more of an arrow magnet.
but with a happy ending.
I'll take all the arrows.
You made a lot of money in arrows.
Stand back.
Again, better strategy: avoid the arrows.
Yeah, you could dodge it next time, Adam.
Oh, he's too stoic to dodge.
I think it speaks to my character, and I like that.
I imagine there's dialogue here, and it's like he's like, "Sorry, they're late. Anyway, shoot me with a bunch of arrows. Look at all these other friends of mine you killed."
I'm down there somewhere.
Yeah, Joel's down there.
I wish I had a neck that thick.
I imagine that Adam
I know,
killed
he's
all
been
those
neck to
dudes.
those
Yeah,
guys, and
I
that's
think
who's
that
left.
Adam's the hero in this animatic here.
One of the heroes.
Oh, I'm sorry, one of the heroes.
Well, it's like Destiny.
Hey,
You're
look
most
out!
likely
He's
the
like, I
villain.
got a plan. Don't worry.
Adam, look out!
I don't have a plan.
Actually, knowing me, I probably just kind of blanked out, and I was
Yeah.
thinking about something, and I went, "Oh shit!"
And we're in the back going, Adam, move. They're shooting arrows.
Who's that?
walk like
I forgot to put on my armor. Who said that?
Did you get a testicle shot? No, doesn't
No,
look
he's all
like it hit
good.
you in the
Some of the
balls.
legs.
Look at
That's a close one. You did go to your knees though.
Yeah, like a pussy.
that. No, I dropped something. Dropped my keys.
Well, this is when when
Man.
you think he's gonna die, like Leonidas.
Except
Yeah.
I'm smiling.
But then he doesn't die.
Yeah. See, because
that's my
instead of food, he eats arrows.
And then this is the metal music kicks in.
The video has music.
Well, I think
It's
it's
a Sucker Punch
copyrighted
soundtrack.
now.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
it's copyrighted.
Okay.
The listeners can't hear it because I muted.
Wait a minute.
of course.
But what's Adam gonna do against all those soldiers?
If only I had two friends who weren't Joel.
Holy shit.
I'm the master tactician in the tent in the back saying,
Oh.
all right,
Yeah.
James and Bruce, you guys roll up after Adam gets shot, and you'll get all the glory.
Filled with arrows.
Oh, jeez.
He's in the
Regular
back. Someone brought him a little
Zhuge
case
Liang.
full of ice.
What?
Yeah, that's right.
I was making
I
reference to
played
Kingdom of
What's that?
Heaven. Oh, snap. Either way, stuff's fucking amazing.
Area, I just...
Okay, well,
so
that's the
good.
end of fan art. We got about 50 seconds left, which may be enough time for a sailing story or a finger spacing story.
Ooh, which one do you guys want?
You
Sailing?
guys decide.
Finger
Sailing.
spacing.
Sailing.
Okay,
Sailing.
sailing. We can't talk too much about it because it's part of the AFK shoot. But we did go sailing in San Francisco. Bruce and I are seamen now.
So we are seamen.
We got. Here's the thing. They told us we're going sailing. I imagine we're gonna wear a little captain's hat, little khaki outfit, like
No.
Joel's wet dream.
No.
Like that's what we're gonna look like, a little corncob pipe. It ended up being professional sailing.
Professional racing sailing.
Like,
we
America's
raced
America's Cup.
We raced sailboats with America's Cup.
Like
teams.
Jaws 2 professional sailing?
like Jaws 2 professional.
So do you remember the
sailing.
film Waterworld, the Academy
No, that's
Award
not a real
nominated
film.
top film of all time?
that's
That's,
a fake-
that's the one with
That's a
Two-Face and
fake
Poison Ivy,
film.
right?
So in Waterworld, he had
real.
this boat that was basically
Every
like
time.
I guess it's like two pontoons. Is that what you call it? I don't know, and then just like a giant net in the middle. We rode on that boat basically. We were told that it was the boats from what was the movie?
Jaws 2.
The Thomas Crown Affair. Bruce and I got to ride on one of those, and we were going like 40 miles per hour on this thing around Alcatraz Island. And
Nuts!
And we no. They told us that, what was it? It was
22
like
knots.
22
Knots
knots
per
is about
miles.
40 miles per hour. We learned things, Joel. I got calluses, which is really cool. Bruce and I were like doing shit. Our camera guy was like sliding everywhere. But that will be going up, I think, in October. But we did a whole AFK thing, and it was actually a lot of fun. That, and there's also driving that we did up in PAX. So we're actually doing more, like Bruce and I are in all the new AFK episodes, which is good.
Lawrence and I were in a hotel room frantically trying to get videos edited.
Yeah. I was sitting on an ottoman hunched over my tablet.
Oh, yeah.
Is he done talking about Waterworld?
So what's really cool about it, though, is like imagine if the polar ice caps melted. It's almost like
mentioned.
taking a sci-fi world and then turning it into fantasy through this thing where.
Would you say that
scientifically, the
Waterworld is a
greenhouse
science
gases
fiction film?
Melted all the ice, creating Waterworld, which is kind of fantasy, but it has a lot of sci-fi elements.
Fucking stop!
Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you next time.
See you next
I'm still recording on my end. I can go as long as
I want.
Welcome back to the Adam Kovic podcast, where we talk about Waterworld and Destiny and
pronounced
why they're the
Corolla.
two best things ever made. We'll have James on next week, where we'll talk about Gattaca. James?
I'm going to treat myself to a clip bar.
We all like Gattaca.
Play the beta and the alpha.
Yeah.
So if you haven't checked it out yet, I mean, maybe it's not for you, but this is my honest opinion. It's like I'm having a lot of fun with the game.
Do you guys think it's a good idea turning off the comments section? I'm just curious what you guys have to say about this.
No, I think it's a terrible idea to turn off comments. I think comments are an integral part of YouTube.
Which is more credit than they should be giving us, but
Way
still,
more.
it's still pretty astounding.
Yeah, well, just to kind of wrap up the whole YouTube comments thing, it's mostly crap.
True.
It does seem like it's a bunch of people screaming just so they get noticed.
Yeah.
And then when they get noticed, they have no idea what to do because they didn't think it was going to work.
Yeah.
But there's also sometimes people can have legitimate conversations and exchange interesting ideas.